Well, good morning and welcome back to Canada. We are about to get things started with our speed competition here. It is our Speed World Youth Championships. It's going to be running all the way through today. We are covering the qualifications, about to start with that in a few moments' time. Had a little bit of a delay to the start, a couple of changes, but we're about to get things underway and it's looking good so far here. We're then going to have a little bit of a break and we'll get ready for our finals as well later on this evening. We will know by the end of today who our World Youth Champions are in the 6 different categories for speed here in Canada. You can see the crowd just starting to pick up behind us. We're going to get a huge amount of athletes and people gathering to support their home teams sitting down here. At the moment, people are still moving around a little bit because they know we've got a few minutes before we are kicking things off. Unfortunately, Tristan Gosling of Canada has had to pull out due to an arm injury, but we've still got pretty much everyone ready to go. We're going to be starting with female youth B, and then it'll be male youth B, moving up to female youth A, male youth A, female juniors, male juniors. It is ladies first here in Canada. I'm Daniel Finn, and I'm going to be with you all the way through this competition. For now, I'll leave you with a look at the speed wall behind us as we get ready to start.
We will respect the times that are in the program. In other words, if we get through with the youth Bs, which is the change to the program, we're going to do youth B, then we're going to do youth A, then we're going to do juniors. Say we finish youth B earlier, now the schedule start on the next category.
So you can probably see here the route setters up on the wall and the brushers, just making sure that these routes are in peak condition for the athletes before we bring up our first set. Now, if you are new to speed in general, you're not entirely sure how it works, just to give you a brief rundown, at this stage of the competition, we're at qualification level, and that means that basically these guys are not racing each other, as much as it might look like they're racing each other. And I suppose some of the adrenaline of going up in pairs will carry them to the top at maybe faster speeds, but at this stage, they're just trying to put in the fastest possible time that they can. They all get 2 attempts at the wall here. They'll all have an attempt on route A and route B. They are identical. The grading is around a 6B plus, around 5% incline on the wall. And every athlete has 2 attempts. And out of those 2 attempts, their fastest time carries them through in the hope that there'll be one of the 16 athletes in their category going through into the finals. Now, when we get to the final stage of things, that's when it gets really interesting, because then it becomes a race. Then it's all about beating the other side of the wall. Not so much about the time limit that they're putting on there anymore, but it's all about just trying to beat your opponent. It is a knockout tournament to get yourself through to the final set of finals, and there are quite a few of them, and I know that sounds like a mouthful, but I'll explain as we go through. There's a quarter-final, a half, and they're all over the place, but I'll take you through them as we get to them. Then at the very end, we'll have a small final to decide our bronze medalists, and the grand final, which is for the gold and the silver medals. It sounds complex. It isn't, I promise you. I'll take you through it as we go through. Good morning to you. I hope you're all doing well. If you want to get in touch with me at any point today, you can do so by getting in touch on Twitter using the hashtag WYCH2013. That's World Youth Championships 2013. I'm Daniel Finn, and I'll be with you all the way through today. We're about to get things started here. So I'm going to be chatting to several people as well today about the competition here and how it's running. I'm going to be talking to Commander a little bit later, who is the event organizer here, the big chief. And we'll also be talking to Andy, who is the first runner of the World Youth Championship team from Canada. All the way back in 1998, he put a team together and started getting involved with the World Youth Championships. And we're going to talk to him a little bit about the progression of the World Youth Championships to this stage now, where Canada is hosting its very own in 2013. So stick around for that one as well. I'll of course be trying to pull over as many athletes as I can to have a bit of a talk with them as they get down. And if you haven't seen this particular discipline of sports climbing before, you're in for a treat because it is incredibly impressive. It's a 15-meter high wall, and I've seen some of them warming up earlier today. We're on an average of between 7 and 8 seconds to get to the top for a majority of the athletes here, between 7 to 8 seconds, 15 meters. The grading is around a 6B plus at a 5% incline, this wall. It is top roped as well, but they don't get pulled up. It's all on the athlete. So the female Youth B contestants are now lining up around the side, popping their shoes on and getting ready to go. I'll be talking you through them as we move over to it in just a few moments' time. Okay, so as I said before, it is the fastest time at this stage of the competition for the qualifying rounds. Our first group is female Youth B, and our first 2 athletes to start off on this one are going to be Sabrina Vega of Republic of South Africa and also Elena Moss of Canada. If you missed any of the qualifying rounds for the lead as well, you can now get hold of them on the IFSC's YouTube channel. You can go back and watch the qualifying rounds for lead climbing here. Tomorrow is the big day. We have semi-finals and finals all in the one day.
You can be eliminated because you've got one false start too many, and I find that's always kind of harsh. Sometimes we've even had people winning finals without the other person even running, so that's the way the cookie crumbles. So we'll try and avoid that. Technology, we have the technology.
Okay, we are about to get things started here. We have our first 2 contestants our athletes rather, sorry, are about to move out onto the wall. Thumbs up are going around, and we're about to get things started with our Youth B female qualifier round for speed here. So our first two athletes in this category, one from South Africa and one from right here in Canada, and you can tell that by the incredible amount of noise that is about to start being made from behind us in support for these two athletes. They have presented, they now take their starting positions. We get ready with the clocks there. It is Sabrina Vega on the left and Elena Moss on the right. And here we go. The clocks have started, and it's looking like Elena Moss is going to be pulling very far into the lead here. We have Sabrina Vega down at the bottom, unfortunately, but it is all about Elena Moss. 16.91. Not a bad time to start off here for her. This is female youth B category, so these girls are 14 to 15 years old. Elena Moss, 14 years old, from Canada. She's been climbing for 6 years. Just put in her time of 16.13. From Boulder's Climbing Gym. And the support is still pouring in for Sabrina Vega, who is just still pushing towards the top. Elena Moss was first at the BC Provincials this year, third at the Nationals in 2013 as well, and first at the Regionals in 2012. She's put in a good performance there of 16.91. Our next two athletes, one from the USA and one from Chile. We have Mukwe Silva from Chile out on the left-hand route and Grace McKeon on the right. Okay, so Mukwe Silva on the left-hand side here, route A. The two routes are identical, of course. No difference at all in them. Well, here we go, and it's Grace McKeon of the USA putting in an incredibly good performance here. She is flying up this one. She's going to be knocking off quite a few seconds from the previous racer. This is 11.24 seconds ahead of 16.91 from Elena Moss. 11.24. And Mukwe Silva, the time of 22.33 there. Our next two athletes, the first for our Russian contingent here, it's Katerina Barashuk, and she will be going through her first run at the speed wall next to Florence Grunwald of Germany. And just to give you a heads up on this one, the Russians are the ones to watch out for in this particular discipline. The Russians, any Ukrainians you might see, and any Polish athletes. Those are the ones that you want to keep your eyes peeled for. Also Ecuadorian athletes at this particular event. But those three are the ones in the seniors that are the countries to watch out for when it comes to speed. This is nice here from Katerina Barashuk. She's very fluid, moving from one to the next. 11.50 there. 11.50 for Katerina Barashuk and 15.68 for Florence Grunwald. So the fastest time so far in Youth B still lands with Grace McKeon from the USA. Very impressive first climb there for her, and she's got another one yet to come as well. A lot of these athletes are also competing in both disciplines here. They've climbed more or less every day since they've been here. This is going to be an interesting one, our next one, as we have Darmak Rengifo of Ecuador up against Daria Khan of Russia. And as I mentioned a moment ago, the Russians are ones to watch out for. And I saw the Ecuadorian team warming up a little bit earlier, and they have some particularly fast climbers in the men's as well as the women's. And here we go. It's Russia taking an early lead here. Daria Khan. Daria Khan moving nice and fast on this one. We've still got Darmak trying to get there, but there's our new fast time, 10.36. 10.36 from Daria Khan. So upping the bar here. Unfortunately, a miss at the top there for our Ecuadorian athlete, Darmak Rengifo. Daria Khan now holding the new fastest time here of 10.36 seconds. Okay, so Claire Burfiend of the USA on the left-hand side now, and she is up against Elma Fleuret of France. Here we go, Claire Burfiend putting in a nice performance here. Still got Elma chasing her here. This is going to be a good time. 11.45 for Claire. Round of applause from the crowd, and 11.75 for Elma. As I mentioned at the start of this one, this is not a race for these guys. They're just trying to put in the fastest possible time that they can to qualify in the top 16. In this particular category, we only actually have 16 athletes, which means that all of these athletes should be qualifying, but it's just then it would just decide the starting order and who you're up against at the first earlier stages of the finals. So that's basically what these girls are competing for at the moment, as there are only 16 of them. So our next two athletes, Dominika Haro of Ecuador and Alexandra Provalova of Russia on the right. Provalova. Okay. 12.64. 15.92 for Dominika Haro. Margarita Marsanova now for the USA, out on the right-hand run, sorry, the left-hand run, and Evelyn Fuchs of Switzerland out on the right. Margarita on the left, Evelyn on the right.
So to encourage our success,
fastest time still at 10.36 here so far today. Oh, a slip there, but she's managed to hold on. It's Margarita Marsanova still trying to push here, and Evelyn slow and steady. Still a good time. 11.54 though for Margarita Marsanova. 12.48 for Evelyn Fuchs. It is still with Daria Khan. Okay, our next two athletes, another US athlete, Sydney Trinidad on the left, up against Anastasia Manulova of Russia on the right. athletes have presented, then they get themselves ready to go. A lot of pressure on these athletes to perform, especially in front of a lot of the team that's behind them down on the ground. Anastasia, very fluid here. A little bit of a slip at the end there, and again. Oh, and unfortunately for Sydney Trinidad, she has missed the top hold here at this point, but 11.68 for Anastasia Manolova. 11.68 with 2 slips as well there for her, so she might be one to watch out for in the next climb. She could be putting in a good time on her next run, and Sydney Trinidad now unfortunately has to put in a really good time on her next run.
And we're back to our first period, so it's going to be Elena Moss for Canada on the left. And Sabrina Vega for South Africa on the right.
So, Elena Moss now starting off of her second run on the left-hand side, and she will be again climbing next to Sabrina Vega. Here we go. No false starts yet today. I'll explain what that is if you don't know a little bit later on as well. This is good here for Elena. Oh, a slip, but she's held it. .80. The first climb for her was the faster one. And we're still fighting here with Sabrina Vega. And there it is. Sabrina Vega, 51.86. Grace McKeon about to come up again for the USA. Her previous time was 11.24. Not a bad time at all. She's up against Moke Silva, whose previous time was 22.33. So Grace is going to be looking to kind of increase the lead a little bit here. Try and qualify even higher. And here we go. Grace again taking a very quick lead. She is fast. This is a much better speed than last time. This is looking good for Gracie. 10.71. Very, very nice. Chilean athlete Moke Silva still climbing here. So Grace has just knocked a little under a second off her time, which is a lot in the world of speed climbing. 26.25 there for our Chilean athlete Moke Silva. So her first time being her fastest. Very nice performance there from Grace McKeon. Definite contender for podium position here, along with Daria Khan. Florence Grunwald now back out again for Germany, up against Ekaterina Barashuk of Russia. Barashuk's earlier time of 11.50. Florence Grunwald, time of 15.68. Florence now on the left, and Ekaterina on the right. And here we go. Neck and neck still at this stage. Florence starting to take a little bit of a... No, it's been pulled back again here by Ekaterina. It's going to be close. 11.71 for Ekaterina. And for Germany, 13.99. Our next two athletes, Daria Khan on the left and Darmak Rengifo on the right. Daria, our current leader of this pack with 10.36 in her previous climb. Can she best that here now? Darmak Rengifo, fortunately not managing to hit the buzzer at the very top on her first climb. So she's going to put in a better time this one if she can. Daria Khan still flowing through this very, very fast here. 9.87, very, very impressive. First one to break the 9-second barrier. 19.65 there for Darmak Rengifo. Daria definitely one to watch out for. We could be looking at our potential gold medalist there. Quite a big difference between her and Grace. Almost a second in terms of their times. Grace is the contender by the look of things. So for Youth B, we're looking at Daria Khan and Grace McKeon. Our next two athletes are Elma Floret on the left-hand side, and we also have Claire Burfind on the right. Claire trying to put in a good time here. The crowd are really getting behind her. Good time, 11.07, 11.22. 11.07 for Claire Burfind. That's another fast one, and Elma Floret with a time of 11.22. Alexandra Provolova on the left-hand side now, and Domenica Haro of Ecuador on the right. Alexandra Provolova, first time of 12.64 and 15.92 from Domenica. And here we go. Alexandra Provolova taking the lead here. .13. It is Provolova with the better time. 15.65 from Domenica Haro, which is faster than her first time.
So Domenica improves her score, and
only two more draws here. They're all on their second climb before we move over onto the male Youth B speed. It's Evelyn Fuchs on the left-hand side and Margarita Masanova on the right. Evelyn with an earlier time of 12.48 and Margarita with a time of 11.54. And here we go, Margarita really going for a push on this one here. Evelyn trying to keep it there. Margarita, very fluid. She wants this one. There's a little bit of a slip on her foot there. And, oh, she's managed to cling on to it. Still 14.20, but it is unfortunately slower than her first time. And as you might be able to hear our local MC saying, and she's completely correct in saying, every single slip, no matter how small, can cost you everything at this one. This particular discipline, it's all about accuracy under high pressure as fast as you possibly can. And when something lasts around 10 seconds, in the seniors, a lot less. Slightest error of judgment make all the difference between moving forward in the final stages. So here we have Anastasia Manuyilova on the left and Sydney Trinidad on the right. Here we go now. Sydney needs to put in a good time here. Anastasia taking the lead. Oh, a slip, and that would have been a fantastic time as well. 10.72, 11.83. 10.72 for Anastasia. 11.83 from Sydney Trinidad. So all is well. All of our athletes have had their 2 climbs. We now know that our fastest athlete here in Youth B at the present moment in time is Daria Khan with a time of 9.87 seconds. 9.87. The ones to watch out for that might be good competition for her as we move through into the finals later on this evening are Grace McKeon in this category and also Anastasia Mayolova. Both of those athletes in the 10-second bracket. And pushing there. Claire Burfield might also be another one to put in a good performance at that stage. But for now, we move over onto the Youth B boys. And these climbs are just going to get faster and faster as we go through this competition. If we were to look at some of the previous speed results for the men's and women's in the senior category, you're looking at around the 8-second bracket for women and the record there, and for the men you're looking at within 5 seconds.
In the seniors, it's a Chinese man that holds the world record. It seems there were some visa issues for the Chinese team coming over. There's only one of them doing the lead dance. Or they have a larger delegation originally planned. So he'll be hoping to qualify for China, especially because he missed the cut for the semis in the lead.
Okay, Youth B male then we're on to now, and it's going to be Pedro Iniguez of Chile on the left hand side and Brandon Liu of the USA on the right. Here we go, Brandon nice and quick here, putting in a good time. This is going to be as long as he doesn't slip. Oh, a little bit of a slip there. That's going to cost him a second at least. 10.09 though, not bad, starting us off with a nice high bar here. Pedro Iniguez still going for it on Chile. 21.38.
So staying with the Latin American flavor on the left, we're going to have Dani Valencia of Ecuador, and on the right,
our next 2 athletes will be Dani Valencia of Ecuador on the left and Katleo Pobe of South Africa on the right.
I believe our young Chilean requires some substance of some description, probably liquid.
Full start here from Ecuador. Now, the way the full starts work in the speed is that they are allowed the one if they do it a second time. They are eliminated from the competition, and that can happen at any stage, even through the finals. And it is happening now.
I think we're saying it's a false start again.
So down comes Dani Valencia.
Was it the same guy?
So Dani Valencia is now out, which is a shame because it looked like he was going to put in a good time there as well. And now what will happen is that Catalo Pope gets to climb and put in his time. And that must be disappointing for Dani. And there we are, 25.48 for RSA athlete Catilo Pope.
Dani, in the meantime, unfortunately, has been disqualified for 2 false starts. What did I say? Sorry, not disqualified, eliminated, yes, that's the more correct term. Thank you, Dan. What did I do?
Carlos Grania of Ecuador on the left now, up against Nicolas Becker on the right. Nicolas Becker of the USA. Fastest time at the moment still being held by the USA, Brandon Liu, 10.09. It's the fastest time we've seen today as well, including the... Oh, no, it's not. No, it's not. Sorry, my mistake. 9.87 from Daria Khan of Russia in the female Youth B category. And that really is an incredibly quick time. And this is what I meant when I was talking about the Ecuadorians. There you go, 8.84, 9.84, 8.84. Vengeance for Dani Valencia's elimination a few moments ago from his teammate Carlos Grania. 8.84 against 9.84 from Nicolas Becker. So we have a new fastest time today. Carlos Grania, 8.84. Plenty more of these boys still to come though. And here we go. We have a full start again for a team for Ecuador. They're coming back down. Now what needs to happen now, what the athletes need to do is give it a little bit of a wait before they start climbing after the buzzer in a moment. You see it even at the finals stage in the senior category competitions, where they will wait for the buzzer to go, and you can see that little bit of a delay at the floor just to make sure that they can go. There's a touch-sensitive pad on the floor there that's making sure that their foot does not leave the ground until after the buzzer's gone. That's how we know if it's a false start. And there you go. You saw the little bit of a delay there from Marlon Alexis Pozo. He's still taking the lead here. Matthew Robinson on the right. 11.45 for Marlon. .23.35 there for Matthew Robinson. I had a nice interview with Matthew the other day. He's competing at the lead category as well. A real shame to lose Dani Valencia. It looked like he was going to put in a really good time. He could have been one of the competitors for the podium, definitely for the finals here. Carlos Grania still with the fastest time here, 8.84 seconds. Here we go, no false start here. And this is when you get to see what the Russians can really do. Here we go, look at this. Oh, a slip, a slip. He's still holding on to it though, and he's still doing it in 10.97. Fedor Trukhanov.
With a couple of little hesitations, so he'll be looking to improve on
Our current world record holder in the senior categories, Evgeny Wojciechowski of Russia.
Next up on the left is Daniel
Peter Steffi of the USA there.
It's another Russian, it's Vladislav Misnikov.
So 2 new athletes, Daniel Ponce of Chile. And on the right, Vladislav Mzinikov. I will try my hardest with the names. I do apologize if the pronunciation isn't quite what it should be. Vladislav on the right hand side then. Here we go, again seeing what the Russians are made of. This is good. There it is, 8.02, our new fastest time. Very, very impressive there. Vladislav, and 19.26 for our athlete from Chile. Daniel Ponce. Our next 2 athletes then are Adam John Bruno Findley from RSA on the left, and Chen Huangzong of China, our one and only athlete from China here at the World Youth Championships.
He's coming out on the right with the full specs. And on the left is Adam John Bruno Findlay of South Africa. I have to admit, I do not have a clue what you say to encourage Chinese to
Here we go then. Okay, Chen Huangzong pulling into the lead here. 12.68, not bad at all. Support from the ground for Adam. Come on, Adam, you got it. 34.76. It's a great sound when they go for that finishing button with the last of their energy, smacking off the wall, trying to make sure the clock stops.
of the USA on the left, and it's our only French
So we have Michael Retov of the USA on the left-hand side, and a French athlete, Jean Salon Pink of France.
Okay, we're set to go.
Here we are. Michael Retov looking keen to get started. Oh, false start there from Michael, so he's going to have to wait for a little bit now. Leave that start, give it a little bit of a delay. There are 20 athletes in this category, so they really are competing for those 16 places in the finals, and Michael wants one. You can see that here now. Michael Retov, very nice. We could have a competition. Unfortunately, a fall there, 11.32 for Jean. Unfortunately, a slip there for Michael Retov. But I think we have a contender in him. Carlos Grania currently one of the ones to beat, and also Vladislav Miznikov as well of Russia, 8.02. That is the fastest time we've seen from these youth male athletes. The athletes from Kazakhstan as well, another country that has a particular specialty in speed climbing. So Roman Kostoikov of Kazakhstan on the left-hand side and Lev Rodatsky of Russia on the right. Here we go then. Roman not doing too bad here at all, but look at the Russian athlete. Look at Lev go on this. 7.62. And a casual finish as well. Just a one-handed little brush across the mat, but he managed to stop it. 9.06 as well from Roman. Again, a very good time here. So, a new fastest time here, and only one more pair before we have a rotation. So at the moment it's looking like Lev Rodatsky and Vladislav Miznikov are the two athletes leading the pack here, both from Russia. Daniel Akotov of Russia on the left here, and Kostyastin Pavlenko on the right for the Ukraine. This is good again. 8.64. 8.64 for Kostiantin. 9.16 for Danila.
So how are you finding it so far?
And now they rotate. So all of our athletes in this category have now had their one climb. They're about to have their second climb. And currently we are looking at Lev really being the one to beat here. 7.62. That's faster than the female senior world record at the moment.
So as you can hear, it's
For a youth B male here. Still quite a few seconds off the senior male though, but still incredibly fast. 7.62. Here we are then, Brandon Liu again, really going for it this time. 10.09, his first climb, here we go. 8.25, and he stalled at the end as well. He could have put in a faster time than that. Had that little moment just to make sure his footing was okay at the last moment. Brandon Liu, but an incredibly good performance there of 8.25. Putting the pressure back on some of the other athletes here, the Ukraine athletes, and 21.54 for Pedro. Catilo Pobe up against, it won't be Danny Valencia now because Danny Valencia has unfortunately been eliminated. So, Catilo Pobe gets his second run on his own.
So here's our young South African. Cathleo against Danny. Danny will be, sorry, Danny will not be climbing close because he was eliminated.
Here we are, Cathleo gets his second climb. Crowd getting behind him. Previous time for Catlio was 25.48. 22.69. Very nice. He's got rid of 3 seconds there on that time. It is time for Carlos Grania, who was our record holder here for quite a while until we had Lev get onto the wall. Carlos Grania, can he best his previous time? He's up against Nicholas Becker. Nicholas with a time earlier of 9.84. Carlos Grania with a time of 8.84. If you want to send some support into these athletes, you can do that on Twitter using the hashtag WYCH2013. Here we are. Okay, now there is Carlos. He wants this. He wants a better time. He's looking good at the moment. 8.57 against 9.44. 9.44 for Nicholas Becker.
Yeah, Carlos Cruz's score is 8.578 that will follow him through, and 9.444 is quicker for next as well.
Okay, Matthew Robinson back out now. Earlier time of 23.35 seconds. He's up against Marlon Alexis Pozo of Ecuador with an earlier time of 11.45. Here we go. Ecuadorian athletes really gunning for this now. They want to secure those places in the finals. 9.31 definitely does it. Nice finish there for Matthew Robinson, 22.31. It's faster than his first climb. Next to then Peter Steffi of the USA up against Fedor Chukhanov of Russia. Fedor Chukhanov with a time of 10.97 in the first climb. Here we go, Fedor looking good here. A lot of support for Peter as well. 8.67 for Fedor. And 9.18 for Peter. Which is still a very impressive time there. Hopefully be enough to secure him one of those 16 places in the final rounds. So our next draw is one of the ones to watch out for, Vladislav Mzinikov of Russia. Now on the left-hand side, Daniel Ponce on the right. Vladislav, his earlier time, 8.02. The one to beat still, though, 7.62. If you want to qualify for the finals on top of the pile. Here we go. Vladislav. 7.52. It is the fastest time. Just keep raising the bar, the Russians at this stage of the comp. I told you to watch out for them, didn't I? 23.20 for our Chilean athlete Daniel Ponce.
So Daniel doesn't manage to improve his score, but Vladislav is just
7.52. Vladislav Mzinikov.
Our next athletes then, Adam John Bruno Findlay of RSA up against Chen Huanzong of China.
Just getting them settled, making sure the foot's on the mat as it should be, so that the timer sets off. As the timer goes, there we go.
And here we go. Chen Huanzong, his earlier time was 12.68.
He's some encouragement. He's the only one from his country here. He's a long way from home. Doesn't have the English.
14.84.
Which is not his best.
The guys down the ground giving Adam some support here. 34.76 his earlier time. This is going to be slower, unfortunately, due to that fall, but he still gets a round of applause from the crowd here. 36.96. Great atmosphere down here on the ground as well.
Okay.
Constant support for all of these athletes. Our next is our only French athlete in this category, Jean Salon Penqua. And he's up against Michael Retov. Keep your eyes on Michael as well. He looked to be very, very good until his fall on the first climb. He has to put in a good time here. But we could have a competitor in Michael Retov as long as we don't see another slip. Here we go, and it's a false start from a French athlete here, Jean. And here we go, Michael Retov letting there be a bit of a pause there before he went. Jean unfortunately falling at that point. Michael powering for the top. 8.52, not half bad at all there. Michael Retov, 8.52. Unfortunately, a fall for Jean. But yep, he looked pretty good when he was climbing earlier. And that slip, unfortunately, caused him to be unable to finish. But 8.52, possibly want to keep the pressure on the Russians a little bit. Remember, when it goes through to the final stage, it's not just a time thing there. It is a race to the top. You have to change your mentality there. You have to try and beat the other person. And that's when you can get a little bit too much adrenaline. If you're not concentrating enough and trying to keep yourself focused and relaxed, you get too psyched about racing the guy next to you. That's when mistakes happen. Well, here we are. Here's Lev, the one that was leading the pack, and he's probably going to do it again here. This is looking very fast. 7.57. It is unfortunately not quite as quick as his teammate did a moment ago. 9.0 for Roman. Fastest time is still 7.52 by Vladislav Miznikov of Russia. But it's still incredibly impressive. It's knocking 10 milliseconds off his first time. We've got Konstantin Pavlenko now for the Ukraine up against Daniel Akotov. False start on Daniela's side, which is interesting because it looked like Konstantin was actually higher up on the wall at that point. The mats never lie. Here we go. Konstantin leading here. Earlier time of 8.64. 8.14 here. And Daniel Akotov with a time of 10.8. 1-1. So, fastest time in male youth B speed. Remember as well, guys, these athletes are 14 to 15 years old. Just keep that in your mind while you're watching. And at 14 to 15 years old, Lev Radatsky is putting in times of 7.57 seconds. Vladislav Miznikov putting in time of 7.52 seconds. Vladislav Miznikov, the fastest time, 7.52. So now we move on to the Youth A female category. We'll be bringing our athletes up in just a second. So, just a few moments, we'll be starting to bring up our female Youth A category climbers, of which we have 19 of them. So we are looking at a race here to be in the top 16 athletes to make it through. Few moments, we'll be bringing those athletes up. So the current thing that's happening is we're going to be 7 minutes before we are ready to start. It's due to start at past. So they get a little bit of a break whilst the volunteers and the organisers arrange some things before we bring up the girls. They're at the bottom of the stairs here. And you can see some of the first athletes coming up, getting ready to take their seats and get sorted. And very shortly the results will be up on the board down at the bottom as well, hopefully up online for you guys to see who the 16 are out of the Youth B male, out of the 20 that we're making it through. And obviously all the female athletes from the female Youth B category will be going through. But the time does make a difference in terms of who is paired with who going through into the finals. So due to start at past the hour. So about 6 minutes here before we get ready with our first pairing. That first pairing will be Nicole Mejia from Ecuador and Annabelle Slabert from RSA. So, to keep you updated on what else we are going to be bringing you from the IFSC over the next few weeks, we have loads of stuff coming your way. As soon as we finish up things here, don't bear in mind as well, there's a lot more to come here from the World Youth Championships. We have the speed finals this evening. Tomorrow we have the semi-finals for lead, and then the finals on the evening as well. That's where it's going to be the most exciting. Huge crowds gathered here down in Canada, or rather up in Canada, I suppose. From that, we are then heading down to Munich for the last stage of the bouldering season on the IFSC senior circuit. It's the last World Cup in Munich, and that's always a fantastic event. Last year, incredible atmosphere, and to finish up the year there, huge crowds worth tuning in for. Of course, we bring that all to you live on the web, on the IFSC's channel, and you can watch any replays on YouTube of any event that we bring you. So we've got Munich coming up. Then we also have Eindhoven, which is the next stage of the European Championships. We had Chamonix in France, which was the Lead and Speed European Championships just recently, and we will be moving over to Eindhoven for the bouldering stage of the European Championships. That's coming up as well, before heading over also to Arco and Purs. We have coming up as well. Arco for the Rockmaster and Purs for the next Lead World Cup. This is all within the next 3 to 4 weeks, the next month. Very, very busy year here on the IFSC, and you can catch all of that on the IFSC's website. Any updates you can find, of course, on that website. If you're not on that website at the moment, if you're joining us from any of the other outlets for this, you can get there by going to ifsc-climbing.org. Find out everything you need to know about the up-and-coming calendar for this year. The other thing to bear in mind is that you can, of course, watch everything we cover back on YouTube on the IFSC's channel there. Replays of last year's World Youth Championships in Singapore are available up there as well. Get yourself over to there and have a little look at what else we cover for the IFSC. A few moments now, a couple of minutes, and we'll be getting ready with our first pairing in the female Youth A category. Okay, our first two athletes are approaching the stage now. We'll be starting things off with Nicole Mejia of Ecuador up against Annabelle Slavitt of RSA. Annabelle on the right-hand side and Nicole on the left. Nicole on the left-hand side and Annabelle on the right. Here we go then. No false starts here. Quite fast here from Nicole. .53. Annabelle still going here. .38.70 for Annabelle Slavitt. Next athletes, Jacqueline Wu of the USA and Kayla Liu of the USA as well. I'll just re-say those last names because they're not related on this one. Jacqueline Wu and Kayla Liu. Okay, here we go. Our two USA athletes, Jacqueline Wu on the left-hand side and Kayla Liu on the right. Good time here, 10.74 and 10.65. 10.65 for Kayla. And 10.74 for Jacqueline Wu. So current fastest time is Kayla at the moment with 10.65. So our next two athletes coming out here, Hannah Tolson of the USA and Polina Shelpakova of Russia on the right-hand side. So USA versus Russia. Here we go. Looking like Hannah starting to take a lead on this one. Remember, they're just trying to put in their fastest time. Unfortunately, a missed button there at the very top for our Russian athlete, but 12.03 for Hannah Tolson. Our next two athletes about to start off, we have Kyra Condi on the left-hand side for the USA, and Anna Emets for Russia on the right-hand side. Here's a fun fact for you. Horizons, as 24/7, the company that myself and Mike are from, that bring you all these IFSC webcasts. Horizons' first ever climbing webcast was actually the World Youth Championships in 2004 at Ratho.
So we've been doing this for quite a long time. No doubt the sport has changed. The athletes are getting faster, stronger.
2004 in Ratho. First climbing webcast was the World Youth back in 2004. And if you wanted to catch that, just talking to you about that that first ever climbing broadcast, if you want to go and see that, you can also catch that on the replay as well, all the way back to 2004. There's some of our archives for you. Hundreds upon hundreds of hours of climbing for you to watch on demand. .56 for Danielle Rogan. 10.69 for Elena Markosheva. Svetlana Tovilova of Russia. Now about to come out on the right-hand side up against Yelena Grunyashina of Kazakhstan on the left. And here we go, the fastest time here today, still sitting with Kayla Liu.
Not anymore.
10.59 for Svetlana. A new faster time.
So our second South African is Rachel Fisher, who will be running on the left, and she's up against Frances Margot Deschamps. Tiens, les Français, j'ai eu ce coup sur Facebook ce matin.
Rachel Fisher for RSA. Now on the left-hand side, she's 16 years old from South Africa. She's only been climbing for 4 years from City Rock. One of her favourite places to climb. And the home gym is The Barn. If you're joining us from The Barn, hello to you. Next to her, Margot Deschamps of France.
Margot, she's going to put in a good time here. 10.91.
Rachel Fisher still pushing for this one here. She came third in the Nationals in 2012.
And here we are with 32.41
for Rachel Fisher. Our next two athletes, Megan Carr from the USA and Aurelia Sarison of France. Megan will be on the left-hand side, Aurelia will be on the right. And here we go. This is going to be a nice fast one as well. Megan Carr putting in a good time here, as is our French athlete Aurelia. 10.41 against 10.51, but the new fastest time here, 10.41, goes to Megan Carr at the moment. Aurelia Sarison, 10.51. Both athletes there beating the fastest time so far in this category. Megan Carr taking the lead. Isla Malanova of Kazakhstan on the left now, and Patricia Chudziak of Poland on the right. Both Poland and Kazakhstan, two countries to keep an eye out for as we move especially towards the junior categories later on. Again, this is going to be a nice time. 9.91. We have broken the 10-second barrier. Hazel Malanova, 10.91, still a very good time. But the new fastest time, changing every climb here. Megan, who's sitting down next to me, tweeting all of these to all of you guys back at home, just so that you know who's winning. Her fingers have started to steam now from the amount of time she's having to change this record. Patricia Chudziak, 9.91, now with the fastest time here at this stage. And we're ready for the next set. We have Annabelle Slabat and Alexandra Elmer now coming out to climb. Now this will be Alexandra Elmer's first climb and Annabelle Slabat's second. So it's staggered from this point on, as there are 19 competitors all in all in this category. So the pairs are going to be a little bit different now this time round. Only 16 of them make it through into the final rounds as well. Remember, every climb counts. Annabelle Slabat's first climb was 38.70. Alexandra Elmer for Austria, another one to watch out for. We've seen her at senior competitions. Here we go, Alexandra Elmer putting in a nice climb here. A little bit slow and steady for her, 10.80. Annabelle Slabat going for this one here. Her first time, 38.70. Can she best it on this one? She's 16 years old from South Africa, and she's only been climbing for a year and a half as well. So it's been competing here at this level. It's quite an achievement. Came first at her regionals in 2012, 40.46. So a little bit slower than her first climb. But it is Poland leading the pack at the moment. Edita Ropek, another one from the seniors. Incredibly fast athlete. She's from Poland as well. Have a good speed contingent from that country. Russia is the one to beat. Here we are then with our next set. It's Kayla Liu and Nicole Mejia. This is good. This is neck and neck. Bit of competitive climbing going on here. 10.52, 10.90. 10.52, it is Kayla Liu. And 10.90 to Nicole. Next athletes, Polina Shelpakova of Russia on the right-hand, the left-hand side. Jacqueline Wu of the USA on the right. Here we are, getting ready to go. Jacqueline got a shoulder strap going on here. I hope it's not too much of an injury. Maybe just to keep her warm and motivated. Jacqueline, a little bit of a slip there. She's got to keep pushing here, keep focused. We have lost Polina Shelpakova, so it is Jacqueline powering for the top, and 12.03. Jacqueline Wu's first climb, 10.74, the faster time. Next to Anna Emmets of Russia, up against Hannah Tolson of the USA.
So we're keeping this really, really simple. The climber on the left for the foreseeable future is going to be Russian, and the climber on the right is going to be American, so exercise. Anna Emmets will be climbing for Russia on the left.
Anna Emmets is going to be on the left-hand side here. See her just getting ready. Hannah Tolson, earlier time of 12.03. Anna Emmets, 11.13 on her first climb. Oh, bit of a slip there from Emmets. Tolson still pushing here. 11.90 for Tolson. 12.89 for Anna Emmets. Elena Markusheva of Russia on the left-hand side next, up against Kyra Condi of the USA. 10.6 for Kyra Condi on her first climb earlier. Elena, 10.6 as well. This could be close. Fastest time still with Patricia Trudziak from Poland, 9.91. Here we go. Kyra Condi, but no let up at all from Elena here. Again, this is going to be close. 10.37, 11.19, 10.37 for Kyra Condi. Knocks 30th of a second off her first climb, 11.19 from Elena. A little bit slower than her first climb here. 9.91, still the one to beat.
Okay, we're looking for the male using athletes to go and check in now. Si les cadets garçons peuvent se pointer tout de suite.
Svetlana Motovilova on the left-hand side and Danielle Rogan on the right. Danielle with a bit of a slip there. Svetlana, 10.59 the earlier time, 10.12. For Svetlana on this one. Danielle Rogan. Margot Deschamps of France on the left-hand side now against Yelena Gruyashina of Kazakhstan on the right. Here we are. Margot looking good. It's going to be a good time for her. At 11.18. Against 12.36. Just to watch out for as we move forward in this competition then. Megan Carr, Patricia Trudziak, And also Svetlana Tovilova.
Margot prend le temps du premier run.
Excuse me. Here we are then. Aurelia Sarison of France up against Rachel Seeley-Fisher of RSA.
Yelena will go with the time for a first run, and so will Margot. Next up, it's our second French climber, French champion Aurelia Sarison, against Rachel Seeley-Fisher of South Africa.
Cries of alley from behind us for our French athlete Aurelia Sarison. 10.30.
Which improves on her first run. She'll be happy with that.
Our athlete from RSA, Rachel Seeley-Fisher, her first climb was 32.41. This one's 31.12. There we are. We've knocked a second off there.
31.125, that's an improvement for Rachel Seeley-Fisher on her first run.
Megan Carr, another one to watch out for, about to come out. She'll be up against Patricia Chudziak. Both of these athletes could very likely be in this category through to the final stages of the finals later on. They will possibly even be facing each other again later. Now, this is for the fastest time, but they're surely well aware of each other in terms of the competition they are providing for each other. As focused they are on this climb, this will also be at the back of their minds. I've got to do this faster than the other one, because these two very likely to be the ones going through to the very final stage of the finals in Female Youth A. And here we are, Megan Carr, Patricia Chudziak. Megan trying to keep the pressure on. Patricia really powering ahead. She's not letting up at all. A slip from Megan Carr. Patricia 9.53. 11.64 due to that fall there from Megan. 9.53, the new fastest time. She's beaten her own record here again. Patricia Chudziak of Poland. Megan Carr's earlier time of 10.41 keeps her in second place at the moment. Oh, sorry, third. Svetlana Matovilova is now in second place, 10.12. Alexandra Elmer here now up against Azel Malinova. Malinova on the right, Elmer on the left. This is our last climb for Female Youth A before we know who's going to be making it through into the top 16. 10.43 from our athlete from Kazakhstan. 10.69 for Austria. So 9.53, the time to beat in this category. Patricia Chudziak from Poland beating her own record of 9.91. The only athlete in this category to have broken into the 9-second barrier. All other athletes on both climbs combined still within 10 seconds, apart from Patricia. Likely finalist there then. High-ranking finalist. I will explain the finals to you a little bit later on today. We start approaching them. Okay, now we're over onto Male Youth A speed now. They're about to start moving up. And these guys, this is a big group here. 28 athletes all in all. We only take 16 through, remember. Our first two will be Mario Cisneros of Ecuador up against John Brosler of the USA. In a few moments' time, they're about to come up onto the stage. First two male athletes about to get set up. While we're waiting for that, let's have a fun fact. Vancouver is named after Captain Vancouver, who, if you did a little bit of research and found out a bit about Vancouver, the captain was a morose-sounding fellow because he absolutely hated the place. Apparently he came here in summer when it was really rainy, and he hated it. So how he got his name to be carried on as the name of the place, maybe he'd hate the fact that his name is the name for the place now, I don't know. But that's where they get it from, Captain Vancouver. Very, very quick start here for John Brosler. 7.27. Up against Mario Cisneros, 9.81. Not bad for Mario either. So, we've broken our overall record for today already. The first climb here. Next two athletes, Alexander Shikov of Russia up against Maxim Dyashkov of Russia. On the right-hand side is Maxim, on the left-hand side is Alexander.
Alexander Shikov on the left and Maxim Dyashkov on the right. Take your pick, give them your support.
Well, here we are, keeping the pressure on them then. 7.01 from Alexander. And 7.34 for Maxim.
So, we have again broken our record for today. Zaslan Kustayev on the left, Dylan Moody on the right.
Zaslan, 8.85, 10.03 for Dylan. .01. Alexander Shikov leading the pack. Our next athletes, Dale Rosser of RSA on the left, Sagzan Rakishev of Kazakhstan on the right. False start there from our athlete from Kazakhstan, Sagzan Rakishev. That's the warning. And one more is the elimination. Here we are. Sagzan. Oh, a little bit of a slip there, but he's stuck with it. 9.66, not bad at all. Dale Rosser getting some support from the crowd now. .30 on the nail. 30.00. Tristan Gosselin of Canada I have up next, but that can't be right because I was told that he's actually pulled out, and it isn't. So there we are.
As I mentioned earlier on, Tristan Gosselin unfortunately having to pull out the competition this morning due to an injury, problem with his arm. I think his elbow was mentioned. So it'll be Borja Farah then, I believe, against Alexei Panfilov. Kazakhstan athlete Alexei Panfilov, 9.57. .56 for Borja Farah. Next athletes, Ronnie Escobar up against Grivin Roering of the RSA. Here we are, Chile, Ronnie Escobar on the left-hand side. 7.01 from Alexander Shikov. What an impressive score to start things off. A male youth A category this is now, so 16 to 17 years old. And it is about the same level as our seniors climb at, around 7 seconds. Is an average really for the men's seniors. 18.62 here for our Chilean athlete, Ronnie Escobar. Jake Chris of the USA up next on the left, up against Daniel Zakirov. Watch out for Daniel Zakirov, athlete from Russia. Both him and Ruslan Faizulin have competed on seniors before. Ruslan Faizulin is going to be coming out after him. There you go, Daniel. There you can see exactly the sort of standard the Russians like to put out when it comes to male speed climbing, and also female. 7.64 for Daniel. For the USA, 8.61. It's still an impressive performance there for Jake Chris. Our next two athletes are the gentleman that I mentioned a moment ago, Ruslan Faizulin for Russia, will now be on the right-hand side up against Brendan Mitchell of the USA. Brendan on the left, Ruslan on the right. Here we go. It's nice to see Brendan keeping the pressure on the Russians here, but it's going to be Daniel by the look of things. 7.26. Very, very nice. Ruslan Faizulin, 7.26. Great performance there. 9.07 as well from Brendan Mitchell. Keeping the pressure on the Russians. They do have a tendency to run away with the speed. That was not a deliberate pun. Alexander Kuguyenko of Kazakhstan and Emmanuel Salon-Penqua of France. No, sorry, it's Georgi Atamanov for Russia. Full start here from our athlete from Kazakhstan, Alexander. Here we go. A little pause there for our athlete from Kazakhstan. That might have lost him a couple of seconds here because look at the speed from the Russians, 6.93. Georgi Atamanov. A nice time there for Alexandria Koyoyenko. But it is Georgy Atamanov of Russia with the new fastest time of 6.93. We've broken the 6-second barrier, guys, the fastest time we've seen today. Our next two athletes then, Inti Melado of Chile up against Emmanuel Salampenqua of France. Now it's Emmanuel. Inti on the left, Emmanuel on the right. This is looking good from Emmanuel here. Oh, a little bit of a pause there, just caused him to miss out on the 7-second limit. 8.23 for Emmanuel, still a good time. 15.88 on the other side. Gianluca Grishting of Switzerland up next on the right-hand side, and Dimitri Karaman of Canada on the left. We're going to see some, hear some support now coming from the crowd. This is where they get loud. Here we go. Canadians unite. Oh, but look at this speed now from Gianluca. 7.68, that's not bad at all. Could be a contender here. 12.04 for Dimitri Karaman. Collier Skin of the USA up next on the left-hand side, and he's up against Joshua Bosler of Germany. Interesting to see the different builds in speed climbers as well. You get some that are really short, some that are very, very thin, and some that are quite massive, I suppose is the best way to say it. Like Libor Hroza from the Czech Republic is a giant of a man. He's massive, and he's currently world ranked number 2 in the men's senior category. Gianluca has a very similar build to him. He's very tall, very thick set. You'll see some of the athletes that come out as well. Some of the Ukrainian athletes, very, very small. Danilo Boldyrev is a very small athlete. Sergei Saanich of Russia as well. There we are, 8.59 for Collier. Up against 9.57 for Joshua. But yeah, as it is a standardized route, you see a wide variety of different shapes and sizes. It's a 6B plus in terms of difficulty. I've heard it called 6C before, I'm sure, as well. But somebody also told me yesterday 6B plus. So maybe it's on the border, I don't know. 5% incline on the wall, 15 meters in height. So, our next athletes, Jan Kritz of the Czech Republic. Watch out for this guy. We've seen him at seniors as well. Also Thomas Slabbert of RSA on the left-hand side. Jan Kritz on the right. Another one of the taller builds, Jan Kritz. He's 17 years old in the Czech Republic. He's been climbing for 8 years. And there you go. You can see the speed now of Jan Kritz. Oh, a slip. A slip's cost him a little bit there. And with the slip, he's still within the 7 seconds. 7.93 from Jan Kritz. Watch out for him as we move through the rest of the comp. Thomas Slabbert still powering away here. .02. Our next athlete for Italy, Alessandro Santoni on the right-hand side, and John Brosler of the USA on the left.
Here we go, John really powering for this one. This is fast, this is really fast. 6.77. The crowd are loving that one. 6.94 as well for Alessandro. We have a new record. 6.77 from John Brosler. Where did he get that from? Where did that speed come from? Great to see at this late stage in the competition one of the latter athletes to come out here putting in that sort of a performance. Earlier climb was 7.27, that was 6.77, that's fantastic. Here we go, our next set, Maxim Daichakov and Mario Cisneros. It's going to be Maxim by the look of things, 7.02. This is going to be a good category, I can feel it. Going through into the 16 athletes later on, this is going to be exciting to watch as we move through to the finals later. Quite a few athletes putting in climbs of a very, very high standard. Alexander Shikov of Russia on the right now, Dylan Moody of the USA on the left. 7.01 from the athlete on the right-hand side now, Alexander Shikov. He was the record holder, beating John Brosler in the first stage. Can he do it again now? Can he best 6.77? It's fast, but he slipped. Stalls. 8.31, unfortunately not, and 8.80 from the other side. Next athletes out then, Zazlan Kustayev of Kazakhstan up against Zagzan Rakishev of Kazakhstan on the other side. So on the left-hand side we've got Zagzan, on the right-hand side we've got Zazlan. We go, two athletes from the same country. A bit of a stall there on the left-hand side from Zagzan. Zazlan still pushing ahead though. A stall from him and it's switched around again. Still 9.30. Not a bad time at all, especially considering there was a slip there a moment ago. Zazlan, 10.79. Dale Rosser of RSA up against Alexei Panfelov, next of Kazakhstan.
Another Kazakh up against Dale Rosser for South Africa. Panfelov was under the 10-second mark in his first run.
Next athletes. A good start there for our athlete from Kazakhstan. I thought that might even be a full start. He did start to move as the buzzer went, but they haven't called him for it. 11.33. Unfortunately, I don't think that's actually going to be fast enough to qualify at this present moment in time. We've seen such a high standard from this category. And Dale Rosser still pushing here. 31.04. Grivin Roring of RSA on the left. Borja Farah on the right.
Here we go. It's looking like it's going to be our athlete from Chile putting in the better time here. 16.77. $20.35 for Grivin. Daniel Zakharov steps up to the plate again then for Russia. He's up against Ronnie Escobar of Chile. And these next three for the Russians are definitely ones to watch. Daniel Zakharov, Ruslan Faizulin and Georgy Artamonov are the three Russian athletes to beware of as we move through this competition. Nice to see Alessandro Santoni is also putting in some good performances. His time earlier, 6.94. And also John Brosler, currently holding the record in this category for the USA. Here's Daniel. 7.43 for Daniel. It's good. Chilean athlete Ronnie Escobar. Oh, unfortunately misses the button. He just did it with his fingers. I think that might be what it was. You got to full palm that button at the end. You got to slam that button like you mean it. We've seen that actually being a problem in some of the senior cups as well. Athletes just not quite putting enough force into the stop button at the very top. Next athletes, Ruslan Faizulin on the left and Jake Chris for the USA on the right. Here we go, Ruslan. This is going to be a good time. 6.96. It's not quite the record here, but it's good. Jake Chris with 9.96. Next two, Georgy Artamonov of Russia against Brendan Mitchell of the USA. Georgy earlier 6.93. Coming very close to John Brosler's 6.77 and our current record in this category. Georgy, one to watch out for. This is good for Georgy. Oh, a slip. And still 7.04. Even with the slip there for Georgy. Brendan Mitchell, 8.12. Emmanuel Salon-Penqua coming up next for France on the left-hand side, up against Alexander Kuyuyenko. For Kazakhstan on the right. It's going to be close. Oh, and unfortunately a fall for our Kazakhstan athletes. Our French athlete with a time of 8.76, Emmanuel Salon-Penqua. So, Gianluca Grishting next for Switzerland, up against Inti Malado of Chile. Good time earlier for Gianluca Grishting. 7.68. Can he best that here? Can he be another of our athletes here to break into the 6-second barrier? Oh, a little bit of a stall there. Didn't feel comfortable, and again here as well. 9.53, he's going to be relying on his first time. Inti Malado, 17.92. Joshua Bosler for Germany on the left-hand side here, up against Dimitri Karaman of Canada on the right. And here we go, Joshua Bosler taking a bit of a lead here. Canada starting to pull it back, and the crowd are loving that. German athlete stalled there a little bit, 9.89 for Dimitri. And 14.09 for Joshua. Had a couple of falls or stalls, and it looks like he just gave up on that one then. He was not happy with the performance and called it there. So for the Czech Republic, Jan Chris up against Collier Skin. Collier's earlier time was 8.59. Jan Chris earlier time was 7.93. And here we go, Jan Chris, this is going to be good. 7.06. Collier Skin, 8.19. Good climb for Collier Skin there though as well. Alessandro Santoni of Italy on the left-hand side, Thomas Slabbert on the right. This is the last climb, the last run of this category. You see Alessandro concentrating there. He is also a competitor in this one. He's one of the ones that we'll see through to the finals by the look of things. 6.94 his previous climb, breaking the 6-second barrier. Now he's powering, he's swept up to the wall on this one as well. 7.03, but it was still very fast. It's faster than Jan Chris. Alessandro Santoni, Thomas Slabbert going for it on this one. His last climb for Slabbert was 27.02. Is he going to be able to beat it here? 25.61. 2 seconds shorter, and he seems pretty pleased with that one, so maybe that's a new record or something. 25.61. That could be a personal best, or maybe he's just joking. I'm not sure. Nice to knock 2 seconds off your first climb, though. Well, there we have it. The ones to watch out for in this category later on will be John Brosler of the USA. What a performance earlier on, 6.77, current record in this category. Also, ones to watch out for will be Alessandro Santoni, who just climbed. Gianluca Grishti could be a competitor, and then also the three Russians, of course, Daniel Zakharov, Ruslan Faisalin, and Georgy Artamonov. Those are the real leaders of this pile here, but that is it for the Youth A category, and in a moment we'll be getting started with our juniors, and it only gets faster from here.
Well, I'm being told at the moment that it's looking like our next set of categories for our speed climbs are going to start at 3 o'clock local time to us, which could be a half an hour break. I'm just going to confirm that and double check, and I'll get back to you in just a few moments when I know that's a definite thing.
So we have the results for the female UK speed category up right now. Les cadettes sont à l'affichage. Well, this is interesting. We now have people sitting on the grass, which we didn't have before. It means they're filling up. That's good. So maybe by the time we get to the league finals tomorrow night, we'll be out towards the tents, over the hedge, around the back of the hill, over the hills and far away. Alright, I'm just getting this double checked, but I believe we have a half hour before the next category, so if you want to mill around, talk amongst yourselves, we'll be back. In about a half hour.
Yep, I've just been and had a bit of a conversation with some of the judges and the IFSC officials here. It is going to be 3 p.m. Our time here that we start with our junior categories. It'll be junior female first, and then moving on to junior male, just like we've done all the way through this one, ladies first. And we'll be bringing that to you at 3 p.m. here. So we've got a little bit of a break now. You've got a half an hour. If you want to go and grab yourself a drink if you're at home, or you want to get yourself settled in for the next stage of it, now's the time to do it. A little bit of a break before we bring you the junior category climbs at 3 p.m.
stressful for me. You know, one of the reasons was I couldn't even pronounce count out any of those names. Yeah, you can. Iced coffee. Don't worry.
Well, welcome back. We are about to get things started here. The athletes are now up at the top of the wall. The juniors category about to start at our speed qualification round here in Canada. Hopefully you guys have had a bit of time to go and get a drink and get yourself settled in for the next hour or so of the juniors competition. We'll be running straight, almost pretty much more or less straight away into the finals after we finish here. It's due to start at 4:30. The finals for all of our categories, starting with B, just like we did with the qualifications. Moving through that one, due to finish up here at 8:30 local time. That's PST to us here. 8:30 we're due to finish up for our coverage for today. We of course still have the semi-finals and the finals for the lead category to come for you tomorrow as well, and that's when things get really exciting. For now though, you can see over just this side now, all of our female junior athletes about to start getting ready for their climb here. I'm going to take you over to the wall in a couple of seconds and introduce you to the first few athletes. So our female juniors just warming up. They've had a bit of time to get themselves adjusted, about a half an hour break. Hopefully everyone's okay back where you are. Let us know where you're joining us from and who you're supporting. You can do that by getting in touch with us on Twitter using the hashtag WYCH2013.
So now we're going to have the junior categories. We'll start off with girls. You can't hear me? I put it onto the clipboard. No, you're hearing me on here.
We've got no insurance. I have it.
See? Okay, good. Is that better? Come on up. Just move in. We're going to start the juniors here. It's the girls. On the left, the Lady Miller for the States, Alison Stuart Patterson for Canada. She's gone right here, this is her gym. Carry the Canadian flag in at the opening ceremony.
Okay, so here we are with our first two athletes here. It's Delaney Miller on the left-hand side and Alison Stuart Patterson on the right. A slip there for Delaney, but she's managed to hold on to it. She's still going for it here. Clocks are running. With Canada and the US getting a lot of support here from the crowd behind us. And it is 13.37 for Alison Stuart Patterson. And a miss, unfortunately, for Delaney Miller. 13.37 for Alison Stuart Patterson. A miss for Delaney Miller to start things off here at the female junior speed qualification round. We have 14 athletes here, so they will be going through into the final stage. They're competing for their order during the finals and their draw, who gets paired with who in the races, the early races at the first stage of that competition, when we move into the finals a little bit later on.
16 fastest timers will go through to the knockout stages, which will be running through later on this evening. It's all about speed here at the boulders today. On the left, Andrea Rojas of Ecuador and Svetlana Okornishnikov of Russia on the right. That's our first junior.
Next two athletes then are Andrea Rojas from Ecuador and Svetlana Okolnichnikov of Russia.
We'll be seeing a premature ballet to her.
Andrea Rojas, 17 years old, has been climbing for 7 of those years. Her biggest influence is Anna Stor, famous bouldering athlete. Nice speed here from Svetlana. 10.16. That's become our time to beat here on the second climb. 14.31 for Andrea. Our next two athletes, Tatiana Skorodimova on the right-hand side and Varvara Shatalova on the left. Varvara on the left, Tatiana on the right. Here we are, Varvara keeping the speed up here, but Tatiana matching her. Still not too fast at this stage. 10.76 for Varvara. Tatiana Skorodimova, 11.40. Shannon Russell for the USA on the left-hand side here, up against Anouk Jaubert of France on the right. Anouk definitely one to watch out for. She's been at most of the senior competitions. And here we are, Anouk taking the lead early here. It's going to be a good time. 9.18, our new time to beat. 12.42 for Shannon. Anouk Jaubert. Estna Bruckner, her teammate, up next on the same route, up against Amelia Metcalf of the USA. So Esther Bruckner on the right-hand side and Amelia Metcalf on the left. Here we are, you can see, and Esther Bruckner, one of the big competitors at the senior level as well. 8.90. Again, we push further below that 10-second bracket. We broke the 9-second a moment ago, now we're into 8.90 for Esther Bruckner. Amelia Metcalf with 14.29. Alexa Nazarian for the USA on the left now, and Alexandra Rodzinska of Poland on the right. We have quite a few of the athletes that have been competing over at the World Cup stages for speed climbing here with us. those are the ones to watch out for. I'll introduce them as they come out. Anok Jobe was one of them, Esther Bruckner is another, and Alexandra Rudzinska is frequent medalist on the senior circuit, so definitely keep your eyes peeled to the right hand side now. Here you can see just why she's a medalist. Look at the speed she's going at here up against Alexa Nazarian. 8.60, the new one to beat. Our next two athletes about to come out now are Nina Latch of Austria on the right-hand side and Valeria Baranova on the left. Nina Latch, another one that we've seen at many a World Cup, another one to watch out for.
Nina Lach for Austria, the only Austrian junior speed climber today. So if you want to support her, it's Eli, and for our Russian climbers, it's Dalai.
So Alexa Nazarian just finishing up with her race on Alexandra Rudzinska. Alexandra Rudzinska setting the new speed time of 8.60. Our next athlete's Nina Latch on the right-hand side and Valeria Baranova on the left. Slow climb here for Latch. 11.89 against 11.07.
Respectively, and that says on the turn already, only the 14 pairings in this junior category, so you can say hello again to Alison Stewart.
Alison Stewart-Patterson for Canada again now over on the left-hand side up against Delaney Miller of the USA. On the right, they switch and start their second race here. Bit of a pause. Officials just conferring for a moment. Just to give a bit of an explanation about that, we've just had Sue come across, jury president here at the World Youth Championships. The reason that we're having a bit of a pause here is because they are supposed to have 5 minutes rest between their first and second climb. Now, some of that will have been used up by the other athletes climbing, but when you're putting in times of around 10 seconds, we haven't quite hit the 5-minute break yet. So they're having that little bit of extra time. Now they're ready to begin. They have officially had 5 minutes since their last climb. And here we are, Delaney Miller and Alison Stewart-Patterson. Can you tell that we're in Canada? A lot of support from the crowd. 13.50, unfortunately no score for Alison Stewart-Patterson, but Delaney Miller manages to get a time of 13.50. Interesting, they swapped over from their first climb. Delaney fell the first time, and now Alison's fallen the second. Next draw, Andrea Rojas up against Svetlana Okolnichniko.
Okay, so they've switched sides from the last time that you saw them. It's Svetlana Okolnichniko of Russia on the left, and Andrea Rojas of Ecuador on the right.
And here we are, Okolnichniko taking an early lead here on this one. Andrea Rojas, time earlier of 14.31, 10.07 and 12.04. Andrea Rojas, 2 seconds off her first climb. Svetlana, around 50 milliseconds off her first climb. And next athletes then, on the left-hand side, Tatiana Skorodomova up against Varvara Shatalova. Tatiana on the left and Varvara on the right. Yeah, Varvara took the earlier lead on the first climb as well, and she's tried to do the same here. As I've explained before, this one isn't a race, they're just trying to put the best time in, but it does help, I suppose, when you're on the wall with someone else. Gives you that adrenaline rush. 10.58 for Varvara, up against a 10.87 for Tatiana. Fastest time for us here at the moment is still with Alexandra Rodzinska of Poland.
I think that as we go through the proceedings, obviously the tension mounts and there's an element of that. But bear in mind that they want to post their best times in qualifiers. Why? Because when we get to the knockout stage, the fastest will be up against the slowest, and then you're going to give yourself the best chances of going forward. Obviously.
Here we are, our next two athletes flying here now. Shannon Russell on the right-hand side, and over on the left is Anouk Jobert. 8.90 from Anouk. $12.37 for Shannon Russell.
Just ahead of her teammate Esther Bruckner's first attempt, but she's coming out to try and improve hers. Now, Sharon, just 12.277 is also slightly faster than her first attempt.
Esther Bruckner here on the left-hand side, a previous world record holder when it comes to speed climbing in the senior category. Bear in mind she's still competing here at the junior level on the World Youth Championships. Her fastest time is 8.33, 8 seconds, 0.33. And that is a previous world record. It's broken by Yulia Kaplina in Baku just recently. 9.05 for Esther Bruckner. 14.10 for Amelia Metcalf. Alexandra Rodzinska now up on the left-hand side for Poland, and Alexa Nazarian on the right for the USA. Here's another interesting fact for you as well. Alexandra Rodzinska, the athlete now on the left-hand side here, is world ranked number 3 in the senior category at the present moment in time. Young athlete Alexandra Rodzinska, still competing at the World Youth Championships. She is world ranked number 3 in the senior category at the moment. The highest ranked athlete on the world rankings at this competition for the women's, Alexandra Rodzinska. She put in a good time a moment ago as well, 8.60, and this is going to be good again. 8.42. 8.42. And that is the new record to beat here in the female juniors category. Alexandra Rodzinska up against Alexa with a time of 15.99. Got Nina Lach and Valeria Baranova next up to climb here.
We've got Nina Lach of Austria and Valeria Baranova of Russia to finish off this junior category qualification round.
Here we are, Lach on the left and Valeria on the right. Baranova trying to hold it. Nina Lach has to put in a faster time here, and she's going for it as well. 9.63. Up against 11.16. So those are our athletes going through. The ones to watch out for as we move through to the next section into their finals will be Esther Bruckner and Alexandra Rodzinska. Anouk Jobert is another one to watch. And Nina Lach as well, another one to keep an eye on as we move through into the next stage of that competition. Well, I was going to try and catch Alexandra Rudzinska and have a bit of a chat with her, but she's run off. If I can find her, I might see if I can have a chat. She's down on the ground now as the boys are just getting ready. They'll be about to emerge. Junior boys about to get started here. They're just getting themselves settled onto the mats. So junior boys about to get underway here. I say boys, male junior speed rather. I'll give you the proper name for the category. How about that? About to get started. Our first athlete's quite a big category, this one as well. 21 all in all. It's Artem Savilev of Russia on the left-hand side and Josh Levin of the USA on the right. Alexandra Rudzinska has disappeared, unfortunately. I'll try and catch her later on, possibly during the final. The finals are manic. It's always the way with speed. You don't get much of a chance to talk to them. They're in and out, very much following the tradition of their sport. They're in and out as fast as they possibly can. Artem Savilev of Russia up against Josh Levin. I hope you're ready for a lot of noise to be made. Here we are then. Josh been doing a lot of training for this speed event, but look at the Russian actually. Artem just flying here, 6.70. 6.70 for Artem, 7.34 for Josh. Not bad at all from Josh Levin. Nice to start things off on a high point at the moment.
Senior world record is some ridiculous thing like 5:16. 5:98? 5:88. Okay. I don't know if we've seen that today, but
Thomas Pitzel of the USA coming up on the left-hand side now up against Sergei Luzgetsky of Russia, who's another athlete that we've seen on senior circuits beforehand. Well, here we go. .11, 7.24. Setting the bar high to start things off. Artem Savilev of Russia, 6.70. We got Ryan Strickland of the USA up next, up against Jose Maria Aliaro of Chile.
Ryan Strickland for the States and Jose Maria Aliaro for Chile on the right.
So Ryan Strickland on the left-hand side and Jose Maria Aliaro of Chile on the right.
Just a little issue with contact on the mat for Ryan there.
Just making sure that Ryan's on the mat so they can see if he's having a false start or not. And there we are, Ryan Strickland. Nice and fast, putting some power into this one now. It's going to be a good time for Ryan. A slip at the last moment, unfortunately, but still 8.93. Still a good time. He's got another climb yet to come, and Jose with 16.75 seconds.
How about we practice that silent start thing so that we're up to speed when we come to do it on the final?
So Konstantin Pale of Russia on the left-hand side next, and Semen Chesnokov
Russian competitors now.
on the right.
Konstantin Bale on the left and Semen Chesnokov on the right. So, when I ask you for silence, we'll get them going and then you can
Konstantin Pale on the left-hand side, Semen Chesnokov on the right. And here we go. Nice quick start, no false starts so far. This is going to be a good time here for Konstantin. 7.23. Seemed to have a bit of a pause there before he pushed up to the very top at the last moment. Last 3 or 4 moves, minor stall. Cost him a bit of time. 8.45 for Semen. Artem Savelyev of Russia, 6.70, leading the men's junior speed category at the moment, and also the fastest time that we've seen today in any category. Artem Savelyev of Russia, 6.70 seconds. So it's Francis Bilodio of Canada against Edward Acosta. Acosta of Ecuador pushing for this now. 8.68 for Edward Acosta. I don't believe that actually was a false start, but something seems to have happened with the clock for Francis. A moment ago, the clock might have a bit of a technical issue here. Might be relying on a manual time from one of the judges. Our next 2 athletes, anyway, while we're waiting for that to be confirmed and to find out what's going on here with that, we have Ian Brander of Canada on the left and Robert Stewart Patterson of Canada on the right. So 2 Canadian athletes. It's going to be a large cheer now. Robert Stewart Patterson has been climbing for 14 years and he's only 17 years old, which basically means he's been climbing since the age of 3. When asked how do you start, he said after the beep. It's that's quite witty. Previous World Youth Championship results, he came 38th in lead at the previous World Youth Championships. 34th in speed at the World Championships in Paris. So it's looking like the machine did indicate the false start a moment ago, and our previous pairing with Francis. But as the beep didn't go when the false start was issued, they weren't warned and they then carried on as if normal. Due to that, he's going to be given a chance to rerun a little bit later on as well. So that's basically the lowdown on what's happening with Francis. We're about to start moving over to Robert Stewart Patterson and Ian Brander that are waiting at the bottom of the wall at the moment. And here we go. Robert Stewart Patterson powering his way up the wall on this one. Going to be a good time for him. Oh, and he misses the top, unfortunately, which means that Robert Stewart Patterson is going to be relying on his next climb to give him a good time. 11.79 for Ian Brander. And a miss hit for Robert Stewart Patterson. Unfortunately, our next athlete then, Cameron White for Canada on the left-hand side, and Amir Maimuratov of Kazakhstan on the right.
And Amir Maimuratov from Kazakhstan on the right.
And here we go then, the crowd picks up for Cameron White, but it is Kazakhstan that takes the lead here. Amir putting in a good time now, 7.41. 9.03 for Cameron White. Trevor Ditrani on the left-hand side. Vladislav Dyulin of Russia on the right.
So we're just taking, I believe that the American climber's on the left. Trevor, I think you're on the left.
Okay, here we go.
Trevor Titrani of
Trevor
USA and
on the left-hand side. Vladislav Dyulin on the right.
Russia on the right. Trevor's looking incredibly relaxed here. Start to focus. Resetting counters and any second. The Russians just looking.
The athletes are presented. They now approach their start positions. And here we go, nice and quick to start then from Vladislav there, and he's keeping the pace on it as well. This is going to be good. 6.89, very, very close to our current record. And 9.38 from Trevor.
For Trevor. So far, a couple of Russians that are meeting the challenge.
Our next athlete for Russia out on the right-hand side now. Another athlete that we've seen at Senior World Cups, Nikita Suyushkin for Russia. And it's Raishat Kaibulin for Kazakhstan on the left. How's everyone doing back home? Are we enjoying the speed climbs? If so, let us know. Get in touch with us on Twitter using the hashtag WYCH2013. Well, here we are then, our pairing going up the wall now. It is Nikita Shushkin taking a bit of a lead here, but it's still pretty close. 7.14, good time for Nikita. And 8.10 for Raishat. Next up, Dominic Labage for USA and Guillaume Moreau for France. Moreau, another one we've seen at Senior World Cups beforehand. European Championships just recently at Guillaume. Dominic Labage, USA, on the left. Support for Dominic Labage. Okay, here we go. Crowd is hushed. A slip from both athletes very early on. Dominic Labage with a second slip, and Moreau pulling it back. 7.53, 9.46 for Dominic Labage. 7.53, and that was with a slip. Guillaume Moreau, one to watch out for. But our very first athlete and our very first climb is still the one here holding the record for the overall competition, even in every other category. The fastest climb we've seen today is 6.70 seconds by Artem Saliev. Apologies for the last name. There we go again. Artem Saliev. Time again for Josh Levin to take to the stand with Quentin Nambo of France. Here we are, just trying to put in an even better time this time round. Nambo putting in a good climb as well here. These are fast. 7.06, 7.18. So an athlete that is now back out again, still holding the overall record. Artem, he's about to come out. He'll be on the right-hand route this time. And he's climbing with his teammate, Sergei Luzgetsky, on the left. This will be an all-round fast climb. So still hunting for that fast time. He's already got one in. Second attempt now. Here he goes, Artem. It's looking neck and neck, and Artem has slipped there at that point. 6.91 for Sergei. And a miss, unfortunately, for Artem. It does not matter. 6.70. He's definitely going to be seeing him through into the finals. So back with our next set of athletes, Jose Maria Aliaro of Chile on the left-hand side and Thomas Pitzel of the USA on the right. Thomas Pitzel with an earlier time of 7.24 seconds and Aliaro 16.75. Slowest climb so far in the men's juniors. Very, very fast for Thomas Pitzel here. 7.81. It's not quite as fast as his first time. 14.46 for Jose. Jose Maria Aliaro, 14.46.
We are looking to speak to the Ecuadorian coach, please. If you could come and see Mr. Patterson, who's just making his way down the stairs. The coach from Ecuador, please. Sorry, Mr. Sorry. There we go.
So our next two athletes are ready to go. It is Semen Chesnikov on the left-hand side up against Ryan Strickland of the USA on the right. Ryan Strickland putting in a good time earlier on. 8.93, very respectable, and that was with a slip, I believe, as well. So this could be good. Ryan Strickland powering his way for this one now. He wants this, and a slip again here. 7.97, 10.19. 7.97 for Semen. Ryan Strickland, 10.19. Unfortunately, just two tricksy runs for him at the comp here. Edward Acosta for Ecuador coming out now onto the left-hand side route here, and Konstantin Pale for Russia on the right.
Okay, it seems we have sorted out whatever needed sorting.
I believe we will still have that rerun as well at the end of this one by Francis Bilaudieu. For Canada, due to that fault at the very beginning of this, the male junior qualification round. He's going to have a rerun a little bit later on so that he still gets both of his due to a technical issue. Athletes now approach the starting places. Here we are, it's Russia all the way here. Konstantin 7.08, 8.71. Not a bad effort there for Edward Acosta at all, but Konstantin Pale 7.08. Fantastically fast climb. Here we are, Robert Stewart Patterson now on the other side of the route. He's on the left-hand side for you now, up against Ian Branda. 8.06 and 8.24. The first registered time for Francis. Nice to see the boys racing, but Robert Stewart Patterson 8.06, good time for him. Our next two then, Amir Maimuratov of Kazakhstan on the left-hand side, and Ian Branda for Canada on the right. Here we go, Kazakhstan's off. Amir again pulling into the lead here. Got to put in a good time. Oh, slip towards the last, but 8.18. Even despite that, 11.59 for Ian Branda. What are your personal bests? If you're joining us and you are a speed climber, get in touch with us on Twitter. Let us know what your personal best is and how it might compare to some of these male juniors here at the World Youth Championships. If you've climbed this route, if you are familiar with this, let us know using the hashtag WYCH2013. Here we are, Vladislav taking the lead earlier on here. Canada getting right behind Cameron White. A slip for Vladislav. Still 8.64. Cameron White, 9.89. Just 3 more climbs before we finish up here. And next to Nikita Shayushkin and Trevor Dichrani. Nikita on the left, Trevor on the right. Athletes present themselves and take the starting positions, foot on the mat. Here we are then, Nikita taking an early lead. Trevor still climbing quite fast, a bit of a stall though for him. Look at Nikita go though, 6.55, the fastest time we've seen today. Nikita Shayushkin, I warned you about him earlier on today. We've seen him at the seniors. That is very fast, 6.55 for Nikita Shayushkin. Another one to watch. There's quite a few of them in this category to keep an eye on. Trevor Dichrani, 10.14. As we move through to the finals a little bit later on, Artem Savelyev is one to watch out for, 6.70 seconds. Vladislav Dulin is another one to watch out for. Konstantin Pale, Sergei Luzgetsky and Nikita Sayurskin, obviously, with the new record here of 6.55. Those 5 athletes are the ones to keep your eyes on as you move through towards the finals later on. And the pairing there, a slip there from Guillaume Moreau. Still pulling it back against Kazakhstan athlete Reshad Kaybulin. 7.56, 8.81. 7.56 from Reshad. And Guillaume with time of 8.81. They're all fast, really, aren't they? I can't really pick out too many of them. It's all still incredible. I managed to actually climb this route for the very first time the other day, and I did it in a minute, so I can't really complain. These guys doing it well under 10 seconds. So Quentin Nambo of France on the left, and Dominique Labarge of the USA on the right. Here we go. False start from Quentin Nambo on the left-hand side at the moment, so we will restart. 9.46 from Dominique Labarge earlier on, but there was a slip there for him, so he can do quicker than it, I believe. Retake their positions. And here we go, that little bit of a moment wait from Quentin there. Shows he's used to it. Unfortunately, Dominic has a slip there. Quentin Nambo has come off. No mark there for him, and 10.60 for Dominic Labarge. Pressure obviously getting to these athletes now at this stage. After that false start as well, then unfortunate for Quentin. So those are the 2 climbs for all of the junior boys, and those are all of the qualifications for our speed athletes. Now, we're going to be going for our finals at 4:30 local time here. Oh, there's me getting ahead of myself as well. After I'd reminded you as well, we have Francis still yet to come and climb again, due to that fault earlier on. I'm not entirely sure. Well, there are 2 here, though. Ecuadorian athlete. So here we are, our 2 athletes. It is Francis powering ahead here. 8.09, it's a good time as well. That's going to work wonders when it comes to moving forward. 9.04 for the athlete from Ecuador. Edward Acosta, his fastest time was 8.68. So he'll be relying on his first climb. Francis, though, improving on that time there. So, guys, that is our full-on wrap-up of our qualifications. We're going to be taking a short break from you now, so you get another opportunity to move over, go get yourself a coffee, whatever it is you need to get yourself prepared for the finals a little bit later on. Cheeky, the cheek of it. So you've got a break now for a little while. We'll be back with you at 4:30 local time to us for the finals here at the speed category. I'll see you in a few.